Guys, Wigan Athletic in Bruges, it's a little bit surreal, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, being a fan for 40 years, this is way beyond even my wildest dreams that we'd be here in a beautiful city, watching us in a European tie.
Very proud moment, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I just never dreamed of playing in Europe, actually coming to Europe and actually playing a meaningful game as opposed to kind of like coming here on tour, pre-season tour. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
How was the journey over?
It was fine. It was a bit delayed at Folkestone, but we got here, and last night we had a few drinks, but everyone's in good spirits. Everything's really positive, I think. We're looking forward to it.
Tony, looking forward to the game tonight?
Absolutely. I can't believe we're here. I'm going to love every second of it.
Atmosphere is great as well. Such an occasion, isn't it?
It is, and there's no trouble. There's no negative. It's all positive. Everybody wants a drink, a chant, and we'll make our way to the stadium soon. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's absolutely fantastic opportunity for Wigan fans to come and watch Wigan in Europe. Everyone had to come here today. We brought that many fans, 3,000 plus, and it's once in a lifetime, isn't it? Wigan Athletic aren't going to be in Europe again. Well, you wouldn't think so.
Great atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It's lovely to see everyone here. Everyone's having fun, and it's really good, friendly atmosphere.
Well, good morning, everybody. Those were the fantastic scenes from Market Square in Bruges on Thursday afternoon before our historic first game in the Europa League. That's just one of the big talking points for us here this morning at the DW Sadium. Joining me is former Wigan Athletic captain Neill Rimmer and the supporters club Jason Taylor. Good morning.
Good morning.
To you both, chaps. Good morning. Yeah, we'll talk about that game, the Zulta game, and today's game, of course, against Ipswich with the 3 o'clock kickoff. Let's talk first, though, about that day itself, that occasion, and what it meant for Wigan Athletic. Neil, yourself first, you went the day before, you got to live it with the fans. It was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I thought, first, I'd like to mention how great the fans were. I thought they were fantastic. From the moment we arrived to right till the end, and right to the end of the match and beyond, I thought the supporters were fantastic. The atmosphere they created was brilliant. It's a lovely city. It was a great experience to go over there, and I think coming away from it, I think it was a really good experience for everyone.
We heard some of the fans there talk about never in their wildest dreams that they've thought they'd be travelling to Europe to watch Wigan Athletic in a competitive game, and it did have that surreal but proud feel to it, didn't it?
Very, very proud. It was. It has been said. Listen, I've been to Europe with Wigan many times, but it was end of season tour to Magaluf or something like that, But so it's never been quite the same. It's fantastic to go there. Competitive game. Who'd have thought it? Once again, it's another one of those things that, over the past few years, that we've been treated to. We've treated to the FA Cup run, the FA Cup win. Then obviously this now is the next step. It was fantastic and a little bit surreal, as you say.
How was your journey out there, Jason?
It was superb, yeah. I mean, you're travelling normally on away coaches down to, even the likes of Bournemouth, which is a long way, but, getting on the Eurostar over to Brussels, and then, getting on trains, which, they got that many Wigan fans on there. It's like going to, a reasonably local match. It was an absolutely superb atmosphere. And, every fan, to a one, they all, soaked up the occasion, and they give us a very, very, very good, reg over there, so.
It was easy to forget sometimes that there was a game to play at the end of it all, because everyone was just caught up in that atmosphere, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean the walk-ups sort of sobered you up a little bit because it was a tremendously wet walk up there. But yeah, all morning, all afternoon around town was immense. All the chanting going on, and I don't think there was actually anybody else in that square except for Wigan fans. It was
there's a few Japanese tourists who didn't quite know what was going on, didn't quite expect that when they booked their trip last year, did they? What did it mean to you on a personal level? You supported this club for so long. What did it mean to you?
Yeah, for 38 years, and when you're watching them as a 5-year-old in non-league, you're not thinking that we're going to be winning the FA Cup and going on European tours. The only time you think you're going to watch Wigan is pre-season friendlies, or like I say, going on just friendlies. You're never going to think of playing a competitive match, and it's it's brought it all home on on Thursday night. So we've got another 5 of these left as well.
Absolutely, and hopefully the other away trips that we go on will be just as exciting. We actually got a message in the week, an email from Rudy Saron, who is the Chief Constable of the Bruges Police, who emailed the club to say, on behalf of the Chief Constable of the Bruges Police, we would like to congratulate the supporters of Wigan Athletic with their good behaviour during their stay in Bruges on Thursday the 19th of September. We hope they all enjoyed their stay in Bruges and enjoyed the match, and that's lovely to hear in the aftermath of it all, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I got, because I stayed in Bruges, got there the day before, and all you heard was from the locals how good the fans were, how good atmosphere they'd created. It was fantastic. And I'd just like to say is that just before the game we were sat there about to start the commentary, and the chairman went with the directors over to the fans, and it was it made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. The reception he gave them and they gave him, it was amazing. It was a special moment once again.
You've got to enjoy these occasions, like the FA Cup final as well. You don't get to experience it every day. We're lucky that we've got more of these days to experience, at least the away days, to the likes of Maribor and Ruben Kazan. It's going to be a bit longer trip, I think, but you've got to savour it and you've got to soak it in while it's there.
Of course you have. I mean, you've always got on the theory it's never going to happen again, I suppose, haven't you? And like I said to a T, every single fan who was over there, I think that's what they did. I mean, come on, Neil said before, we were speaking to some of the locals around there, and they were saying when they played Newcastle there, it was last year or a couple of years ago, they were saying that they brought 2,000 and they were absolutely mental and just smashing everything up. And they said it was superb. Having fans like you lot here.
We were well looked after as well. The reaction or the hospitality we got from the locals was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. And once again, I stayed in Bruges, met a lot of the local people, but also went to a meal reception with the officials from the Wigan, and they were fantastic. They were enjoying it as much as we were. They're really going to enjoy this European venture for themselves. They're a small club who in 10 years have come from nothing really, so they're in a similar situation for us. So it was great to see two of the so-called not larger teams competing in the European stage and really enjoying it and not taking it for granted.
Well, one man who certainly enjoyed the occasion, enjoyed the match as well, was Chris McCann, who was in the starting lineup on Thursday night, and he was frank in his post-match assessment to Latics player. Here's what he said.
Yeah, well, I've said this to my nearest and dearest. I know I've not been brilliant since I've come. It's took a while for me to adjust to the new surroundings and get used to the way the boys play. But the last couple of weeks I've started feeling like I'm getting back to the old me and playing some good football. And tonight I worked my socks off. I felt, and hopefully I put in a good show. And the main thing was to come and put a performance on for the fans that come, because a lot of them travelled a long way to get here tonight and spend a lot of their hard-earned cash and that. So it's pleasing for them as well to go home with something to cheer about.
Interesting words there from Chris McCann. Jason, he was quite frank in his appraisal, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And, I think the team as a whole played really well. At the end of the day, you being there, that rain never stopped for probably, an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game, and it was carrying on all the way through the game. And it was not the best conditions to play in, and I think they did absolutely superb.
There's a big block from him in the second half.
Yeah,
there was a goal written all over it, and he threw his body on the line. And I think at the end of the day, when you've got conditions like that and your backs are against the wall, that's as supporters and as teammates, really, that's all you want.
Exactly what you want to see. You want to see that 100% commitment, die for the cause type attitude. And Carson was exactly the same. He put a fantastic save that it could have all been done and dusted with if one team had scored. But to be fair, we had our own chances as well. But even from a Ibai's point of view, I think a draw was an absolutely bang on result really for both teams. Because they both put everything into it in extremely bad conditions.
Scott impressed you on the night, didn't he?
Yeah, he has done recently. I think he's really fitting in now. I think he's settling. It's never easy for a player coming to a new club, particularly a goalkeeper. He relies on his teammates, his positioning and things like that, and it's a confidence position. And recently I think he's done really well, and particularly the other night. But I do have to say how fantastic I think the team played. The commitment, the determination of the players. All right, some things might not be clicking together, but it's a new young squad, new young team. It will take a bit of time for those things to happen, but if you've got that commitment, that determination, it's only a matter of time. And I think, as the manager said, they played well and you'll be very pleased with them.
We knew there were going to be changes on the night. We expect more changes here this afternoon. It kind of helped us in a way. There was something that you said before the game about players coming in and wanting to prove a point, that it almost gives the team a new energy, a bigger boost ahead of the game, no matter how many fixtures you've got to play in a short space of time.
Yeah, exactly. It's that boost. A lot of those players have got a lot to prove for one reason or other. Either they've been out injured, or it's a new opportunity for them, or they've just been signed. You had every kind of mix on that pitch, and also you've got the players behind the scenes who are waiting to see and dying to get back in. Players want to play every game. this thing about getting tired, and that comes from outside. The players, they want to play. They just want to keep playing. They'd rather play than train. So everybody who's associated with that team just wants to be on the pitch, and it gives the manager an extra problem, because there was good performances out there. I'm sure there will be changes today, but that's why I think the level of commitment over recent games has been so high, because we've got so many good players who are available to come in and more to come back.
Formation was interesting as well, how Owen Coyle played that forward line. Mark Anton unfortunately came off the bench in the second half, but he started with Nick Powell as that kind of auxiliary forward, didn't he?
Yeah, he obviously tried something different. He must have been able to do that position. He came on and he worked his socks off. It's never easy as a one man up front. You've got a lot of pressure on you. You've got a kind of tiresome, pointless running at some points. That's how it feels for those forwards. But he never stopped, and then when the change came, he went out to the right and continued to work hard. So it was a different setup. Gave other people opportunities to get forward, and as we were saying, there was chances there. Their goalie made a couple of good saves as well. So it wasn't just us taking pressure and working hard. We pushed forward as well, and with a bit more of a cutting edge, I'm sure we could have gone on and got a goal.
And you saw the pressure that we were under in that second half, Jason. It really makes you, when you take a step back and review the game as well, how valuable A, the point is, and B, how credible a clean sheet is away from home.
You look at all the top teams, whether it's Champions League or European League, they say it doesn't matter who you're playing, you get a point away from home, and it's job done, isn't it? And they got that point, and the team, I don't know whether they went there for that point, but they didn't look like they were doing. They looked like they were actually, trying their hardest together and get the goal, get the win. But a point, unbeaten in Europe.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever scored against us in Europe.
Rubin at the same time took on Maribor. I think it was a 5-2 win away from home. So they look the early favourites, and that's going to be a tough one when they come here and we go to their place. But at the same time, from our point of view, you look at us and think we've got a great chance of getting through there.
Definitely, when a team does that, you always feel that team who's been beaten they lose a little bit, they lose a bit of confidence. But it's going to be a tough game, not just tough on the pitch, but just to get there and to go through the whole European experience again. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But as we were saying there, to get a point away from home in Europe, throughout time since you were watching football, when Liverpool won the European Cup years ago, they'd go places, shut up shop, get a point and come back to Anfield. And we've got to be happy that we've done a similar thing. I think the manager will be very pleased, but put it behind us, and we've got to get things right today now.
The manager's got a really tough job on it, because at the end of the day, you're used to playing English football. We've never played a European game before, so we're going into the unknown, and going away for your first match as well in someone else's backyard. It's going to be hard. Even if you get your team right, are they going to play the right way to break a European team down? Because we haven't a clue how they play, and I'm sure he's done his own work, but league games are totally different to cup games, even in Europe. So I think the whole team did extremely well, and they should have major pats on the back.
I think it's fallen perfect for us, by the way. I think playing away from home was great, because it was great for the fans to go there. Really builds that European
atmosphere. Good
atmosphere.
Belgium as well.
That's
first,
right. So lots can go.
Yeah.
Really soak it in, get behind the team, and make it a real adventure, and give us that chance, coming away with a point, to go on.
You mentioned how tough it's been for the manager since coming in. We're only a couple of months in, but we've had so many games already, and we've got a lot more to look forward to, not least Manchester City on Tuesday night, which is, it just seems bizarre when you actually look at the calendar and see how many games we've got in that short space of time.
I think, like Neil was saying, I think players want to play. Sometimes, when you see the Premier League fixtures and they've got 2 weeks off here and 10 days off there, I don't think the players even like that. Especially when you just come up from a league where they've just probably had a 50-game season, and all of a sudden, potentially just doing, 12, 13, 14 games less. As a player, I would have thought they'd want to be out there.
That's true.
I mean, as long as you've got 3 days, 4 days recovery, I'm pretty certain that the fitness levels these are at, they just want to be on the pitch.
Yeah. It's one of those things. If you're winning, you want to keep playing. If you're losing, you kind of in your mind you think we've got to put this right and let's get back out there. So players do want to play.
And for a group of players who are still getting to know one another, a lot of changes in the summer. I suppose game after game, it's just building that relationship quicker and quicker, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you can see Coyle. I don't think he's played the same 11 yet. So he's, I think he's got to decide what his best league 11 is, and get that sorted and get them playing week in, week out, and rotate around them. And again, he's got to find out what his best European team is, and then maybe do what past managers have done and try the other players in the the League Cup and FA Cups to see what they've got and see if they can blend with the core of the team.
What's been your assessment so far then from that opening game against Barnsley to here we are today against Ipswich. How do you feel things have gone?
I think most fans thought we'd set it on fire and we'd be, top of the league there with, unbeaten after 8 games. But reality's totally different, isn't it? And you've got to take a step back and think, hang on, yeah, we are going to have a massive workload, and we've got to think, the manager knows what he's doing, and as soon as he gets a feel for what his best team is, what his best formation is, and what he's going to do best in that league, I think we'll start seeing a lot more points flying in.
Psychologically, we're always 1 or 2 games behind, at least for this first half of the season. So it's a case of putting that to the back of your mind and trying to focus on the game in hand, isn't it?
Yeah, you just got to take every game as it comes. I think what we've been saying there about the players wanting to play and how it's gone so far, I'm really pleased with it. I think it's not been easy. So many new players have come in, so many have left. So many new players have come in, and it's creating that kind of team spirit. Apart from a small spell in one game, which I don't want to talk about, I think the commitment and the attitude of the players has been fantastic. And as I say, if you've got that, you've always got that chance. If it just clicks, which you will, with the quality we've got, it's only a matter of time, I'm sure.
Well, those sentiments were echoed by Owen Coyle in his post-match interview following the Zulte Waregem game. Here's what he said to Latics player after the match.
We've got to understand as well that we will have to freshen up again. I mean, we left, as you know, Ronya and Burnett and Beausejour out completely tonight. Maloney didn't travel, Grant Holt was still injured. So we certainly have a number of players and options. We've put 1 or 2 on the bench that will probably start on Saturday as well. And that's what we have to do. We have to have 3 games in 5 days. It's a huge ask of anybody. It's a huge ask of any elite club, never mind, obviously, Wigan Athletic. But the way they went about it augurs well for us moving forward, and that's what we have to take. We have to make sure that we're all pulling in the same direction. There'll be highs and lows as the season goes, that happens. But as long as you stick together, you've always got a real chance.
Owen Coyle there at the Jan Bredel Stadium after the match. So it's Ipswich today. Let's look at what we've got on hand here. 4th home game of the season. Great to be back. We had that spell of home games where it was week after week, and we're doing well, and we've kind of built up that unbeaten home record this season, which is part 1 of trying to get back into the Premier League. Yeah,
that's vital. I think whenever you have to find a successful side or a confident side, they've always got good home form, and that's what we need to build. You need to be strong at the back. That's one thing. It's got to become a fortress. That's what we've seen the last couple of games, particularly the defenders have been outstanding with that commitment. Whoever it's been, and it's been different every game, they've really given everything, and commitment-wise, it's been fantastic. Make this place a fortress. Make teams, because teams will want to come here. Because look at it, it's a fantastic stadium, and we're there to be shot at FA Cup winners. But if we can make it a place that it's a bit scary, we're up against some world-class players. We've got many internationals in this team. And we've got to take advantage of that, get teams on their back foot, and then from there, once we go away from home, with the way the supporters have been this season, it's fantastic atmosphere we take with us, and we've got to keep that going as well. But I just think it's a matter of time before these players can click together, and all the good stuff will start.
You remember how crucial the home form was the first time we got promoted back to the Premier League, and we haven't really done that since we were in the top flight. It's kind of forced ourselves to get back into that routine of making this a fortress now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's prime example was the 2004-05 season. Coming up, it's hard for teams to come here and get something off us. In fact, it's virtually impossible. And it has a spin-off from that, because obviously the more games you win, more fans that come in, the louder it gets. Players get more boosted up. So basically it's it's egg and chicken. You can keep on getting those wins. You'll get the crowds in. They'll get behind them, and that knocks onto the away sport. Because sports clubs do all the away travel. We've had, I think we're well up on what we ever did in the last, especially the last 3 seasons in the Premier League. People are wanting to go to away matches again now. And again, it's just seeing a team that's giving everything and getting results.
Do you think it is results? Is it also the case that we're going back to places that we haven't been to for such a long time? You've got places like Yeovil on the horizon, which I know a lot of fans are looking forward to. There's the trip back to the likes of Blackburn, Burnley, Blackpool as well. Is there that factor to come into it as well?
It's always going to be there. The expense thing as well. It's a lot cheaper in this league than it is in the Premier League. But yeah, like you say, there's a lot of old rivalries there to go back to. Quite a few new grounds as well. Like I say, Yeovil, I don't think we've been to. Doncaster's new ground. There's new places to go, as well as revisiting old rivalries from from years ago.
It's been great on the road, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been fantastic. It really has, and you not knowing what to expect from being on this side of the team now. To be able to go and watch it, it's fantastic. The atmosphere at these so-called smaller clubs, the way they treat us all, I think it's fantastic. The games have been great. They say that the quality is not as good, but the attitude of the teams, the way they play, it's been fantastic. It's been great to watch, and it's been a real nice surprise. I've really enjoyed it so far.
We should remember how many years we spent in the old 3rd and 4th division, you know, and these teams that are still milling around there, you know, the ones that we have the oldest rivals with. I mean, if you go into the stats, which I'm probably sure you do, but like, you'll see these are the teams that we've played many times before. Yeah. So we've got, we know each other as fans, and you know, it's great going back seeing some of these teams. Really
I think once you're in the Premier League, you kind of, we were in it for so long, which is, you know, we keep going, oh, fantastic. Yeah. You kind of forget there actually is football outside of the Premier League, because it's not on the television as much. It doesn't get the exposure. But I've been really impressed with the attitude of the fans. I think they've been great. The fans that come here have been fantastic as well from other clubs. They've really set off a good atmosphere. Yeah. You know, maybe we've been lucky with who we've had, but it's been a real good atmosphere. Our supporters have been fantastic, home and away. And it's really, I think it's invigorated us all with football in general.
How important is it to get a reaction out there today after last weekend? Because Leicester was a setback, it was disappointing. The manager admitted that after the game as well, that he wasn't happy with the performance as well as 1 or 2 refereeing decisions. But important that we cross that off and we try and build from the Zulta game now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the good thing we were saying before. You can draw a line, you can move on. We've got so many games, and the players will change, or will they? We don't know. This is the thing. We just don't know. We expect changes, but it'll keep players on their toes, and it'll be a tough game today. Mick McCarthy, we know how he sets his teams up. Ipswich have always had teams that want to try and play football. He'll bring a bit of a mix to it as well, so it'll be difficult. They're desperate to get back into the top flight. Will be hard, but I'm sure these players are chomping at the bit to get back in there. When you've got such a big squad and a good quality of squad, it really adds to the competition, and the manager's lucky in that respect. He's got players he can make these changes with.
It is funny seeing the back of the programme now as well, whereas, you know, all the way through the Premier League, you know, the left-hand list was always a lot longer than the right-hand one. Now we're actually, you know, our squad is actually, you know, a very healthy size, isn't it? Which obviously we'll need, but, you know, sometimes I think that's what we missed in the Premier League, was having a bigger squad. I know finance just dictate that, but you know, it's great having the amount of players here, and like you say, that's got to create, you know, a good banter within the team itself, definitely. And also, like I say, it's competition for places as well.
You just look at the bench sometimes with the players we've got who are available to come on. It's just fantastic, and once again, I'm sure the manager thinks I'm a lucky fella here, you know, because you see the other teams and biggish teams as well, and they've got young lads that they're trying to bring through, and we've got these seasoned pros who are top players.
Testament to the manager as well. We had something around 13, 14 players leave at the end of last season. It was a depleted squad. You then had players who were injured and were still coming back to full fitness, like Ivan Ramis, like Gary Cole, now like Grant Holt as well. But testament to him, the rebuilding he's done. I mean, he's not had time to reinvest following transfer deadline day, but you imagine when January comes around as well, it could be another busy month for him on that side. I
think it will, because, you know, we always say that by Christmas you know what shape the league's going to be, and everybody's going to be there or thereabouts by the end, you know, by where they are at Christmas. And by Christmas, you know whether you need, you know, more attacking plays defensively. You know where you need to, you know, just strengthen up a little bit. And I think, you know, I think it will be a little bit busy in January. But you know, with the amount of plays he's got, who knows? You know, he might be able to be sat there with his feet up, thinking, got it made here.
I don't think he will. I think he'll want to bring
I don't think he will. I'm sure he'll want to bring.
I don't think any manager does that.
No, and particularly, I think that there's the loans available. There's that option to him as well. So there's things like that could happen in certain departments. But it's not just that, you know, getting the players in the summer. He's come into the job and he's got to do it quickly. You've got to get a team set, ready for pre-season training. You've got to get all your players comfortable with each other. So these things have to happen pretty quick. And
you know, don't happen overnight, do they?
No, and well, sometimes they have to, but it's down to his knowledge of players and of the team and what he wants to do and how he wants to play the team. You know, that he's been able to do that, and he's brought some real quality, and I've been really impressed with the players who've come in.
7 points from the last 3 for Ipswich. They're beginning to find form. They had a rough start to the season. Mick McCarthy just beginning to turn things around. Who do you feel's made a claim for themselves from Thursday night? What do you expect from the team? Who do you expect to see out there come 3 o'clock?
Well, it will be interesting because obviously he made so many changes. The back 4 that he played in the week, I thought they were fantastic. They stood up strong. They seemed to have a good understanding with the goalkeeper as well. But then that happened previously as well. You can't, you know, I'd expect Liam Barnett to play, but you just don't know. Thomas Rogner as well, another player who's, since he's come back from injury, has been fantastic. You know? Callum McManaman, another player who, when he gets on the ball, can cause lots of problems. But You know, you're just not sure. This is what I'm saying. It's one of those now. We don't really know. You know, obviously one of my favourites, James McArthur, whether he'll play, because I thought he worked his socks off in the week. You know, it was a real tough game in that midfield for them, but they worked and they didn't give much away.
It was. I felt sorry for Callum because of the conditions. Because you know,
that's right.
It's not the best
as a winger. It's hard.
Exactly. You know, for what he does as a player, it was virtually impossible for him to do it on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So.
And James McLean on the other wing as well. He worked his socks off. He was up and down, and you pointed out towards the end he made a run. It was like a 60-70 yard run. Got his cross in and then lost it and then got it back, and you know the effort that those lads and commitments. We keep saying it, but it was fantastic. So really, all those lads are in with a shout, and nothing would surprise me today.
What about the view from the stands as well? What do the supporters want to see more of? What's been the general consensus in the last few weeks?
It's just converting chances, isn't it? You know, convert chances, get goals.
We look like we've got goals in us as well, which is a big difference for me from one season to the next.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've proved time and time again here, you know, this season that we've got absolutely the right squad to get up there and get them smashed in. But it's just, like I say, I think it's just they need to calm themselves down a bit sometimes, and they get a bit too anxious in front of goal. So, I think that goes back to what you were saying, that it's only a matter of time before they will click.
That's right. And another thing is we've been unlucky. I feel we've been unlucky. Some of the decisions, you've mentioned it a couple of times on the radio, Paul, but some of the decisions that the referees have made at both ends, it's been, you can't really believe it. We should have had a penalty last week, and for saying the manager wasn't happy, we get that penalty, it's 1-1, and you're back, and that goals change games.
Actually, referees change games.
That's right, and we haven't. There's one game, I think Grant Hall got fouled 3 times in the penalty area. We should have 3 penalties. We got 1, I think, in the end, not against him even. But some of the decisions, and they're massive decisions. Other decisions around the pitches at times baffle you as well. So, we're getting used to that. We're getting used to different things happening. So it's, I do feel as though the commitment's been fantastic. We've not been lucky in front of goal, and I think some of the refereeing decisions haven't really helped us as a big team.
Big game for you today. One that you've been looking forward to?
Yeah, I have. It's always interesting to see one of your old teams had a lot of happy times down there, a lot of good memories. It's a great club. It really is. I was there on the tail end of the kind of moment in time. Really, they had the European adventure and they had some great players, and I kind of got on towards the end of that. But it's been tough for them over the last few years. They've not had the success that they want. It's a club similar to us now, where we are now. It feels it should be in that division above, but it'll be a tough game, and they'll be looking to, as I say, get something from today and get themselves up the league back into the Premier Division. Some big
figureheads, some big names in the game whilst you were at the club that you came up against, so you met and you were able to draw inspiration from as well. That's right. I was lucky. I played with Terry Butcher, who at the time was a captain in England. It was fantastic. Paul Cooper. The thing with Ipswich was similar to ourselves, that there was a lot of older faces, ex-players who used to turn up. So you'd turn up for training as a young lad, and there'd be Arnold Muir and Franz Tyson, Eric Gates, and they'd just come in just to do a bit of training. Bobby Robson, he was the ex-manager, but he had an office there. So it was just a great atmosphere around there. And to say when people say if you played with these people, say, well, yeah, but it was a five-a-side training thing. But you still say, yeah, I played with them. It was great. And then it was also as well, it was at the time Escape to Victory was made, so all those players were going off to that and coming back, and it was a good time to be there, and I really enjoyed it. But forget that now. Let's get over today. Yeah, exactly. Quick prediction then for yourself first. I think we'll win today. I don't think we'll concede a goal. I think we're looking stronger at the back. I think last week was probably a bit of a wake-up call against Leicester. And then if we can get Sean on the ball, I think he'll play today. I think if he can get in those situations, I think we could come up and maybe 2-0. I think that's what I'm hoping for today. Yourself, Jason? Yeah, 2-0 is what I've been thinking. I don't think we can. I think we saw the worst as what we're going to be at Leicester. I think this is going to be the fight back. So yeah, 2-0. Good stuff. Great. Echo those sentiments. There you go. What do you think? A good moment. I'm going to go for the same. I think we've only got one clean sheet this season in the league, which is Barnsley. Be a good time to do that at home. Yeah, I'll go for 3-0.
Okay,
I'll
we
go
can
for a
perform.
barnstorm
Yeah,
first
that
half.
was
4-0, yeah, come on, 5-0, 5-0. Get your money off this afternoon. Right, you thought you were getting away with this. You didn't know anything about this morning, but we have, of course,
Someone's been practicing.
got our Keepy-uppy challenge. Yes, somebody has been practicing, haven't they, for weeks? Right, the leaderboard at the moment, it's a tie at the top. Stuart Hayton, the former football secretary, and Gary Colwell, the skipper, at the top. Then it's Neill Rimmer at 14. There's a bit of a gap there, isn't there, to be fair? So it's kind of the best
I didn't get a
of the rest.
warm-up last time, did I? You know.
Well, go on, you can have a warm-up this time.
All right, thanks. Okay.
See how you get on if you...
Gareth Bale, remember? Did you see him at Real Madrid? He wasn't
Under
very
pressure.
good, was he?
15, 16, 17, 20, 24,
Wall count.
23, 24, 25. Oh,
That's me done.
28. Tried to be clever at
I'm
the
not.
end.
I'm,
You've got a
I'm
new
ended.
leader at the
I'm
top.
gonna end on that one.
You want to take that one? Gareth Bale
Yeah.
did have around 100,000, a bit like when you signed for Latics, the kind of crowd that turned up for yourself. Right.
That's right.
It's about 15 years since I've done that.
Jason Taylor.
Not much pressure on.
So we've
No,
got a
it's
new
not
leader
easy.
at the top.
It's not a sponge ball.
It's not
Well,
even
you
a
can
sponge
practice
ball
first.
and a camera.
I'm allowed to practice, am I?
That's not bad. 4.
5 off for your practice.
Was it
this
5?
isn't
Is this
it?
it?
Five.
Counting the one
there.
off the knee.
Well, we'll count the best.
Are you allowed them
ones.
off the knee? Okay.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Still going.
7. I'm going to give you a very generous 7
Alright.
here, which doesn't mean that you're bottom of the pile. That's still Paul Kendrick with a meagre 5. Thank you very much to you both for joining us this morning. You can join us throughout the day on Twitter at Latics Official, during the match on our Cover It live service with our club journalist Nick Terry, bringing you all the action. And of course, with Neill Rimmer and myself from 2 o'clock on Latics Play with full match commentary ahead of us. Enjoy the day. Tickets, of course, are still available right up to kick-off from the DW Sadium ticket offers. Follow the game, get behind the team, and we'll see you next time on Matchday Live.